Welcome back, folks, to APPEX 2024 Day 4, yet another live stream brought to you by Burkert, where innovation meets inspiration. Whether it's optimizing processes, enhancing sustainability, or simply delving into the fascinating world of fluid dynamics, Burkert is your trusted partner every step of the way, and we thank them for helping to make these live streams possible. And Wayne Robinson, you're back in the host chair once again.
Yeah, great to be here.
And we've got a couple of gentlemen from Wipotec, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, it's a pleasure to welcome Abhijeet Purandare, National Sales Manager, Area Sales Manager, I think we can say, from Australia here, and also Marvin Mies, all the way from Kaiserslautern in Germany. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
We're here to talk 2D and track and trace. Marvin, perhaps I can start with you. In terms of the track and trace, how is Wipotec developing that solution?
Yeah, so we started developing our track and trace business unit almost 15 years ago, starting in healthcare, where the EU regulation came up, and you had to print a 2D code, data matrix code, onto your prescripted package in order to prevent counterfeiting.
Okay,
That's
counterfeiting a huge issue.
Yes,
in different parts of the world. Yeah,
more than you would think of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, and when you say more, are you talking about some certain specific products are being counterfeited more, or across the board?
Well, I think the most counterfeited product we all know more or less, it's probably Viagra.
Is that right?
It is.
You're joking?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm joking, yeah. And depending on the country, it's like between 10 or 30% counterfeiting.
Really?
But now they got rid of it because of this track and trace.
Okay, and so how does track and trace, if you're the consumer of Viagra, how does track and trace help you?
Yeah, you can be sure that you will get the actual original product instead of a counterfeit. And the way it works is you will add a serial number to the single pack.
Yeah.
So each single pack has its unique identification number.
Yeah.
And these data, all the numbers, they will be sent on a cloud platform, which is controlled by normally the government.
Yeah.
And when it gets to the point of sale at the pharmacy, for example, the employee will scan this pack, and the scanner will check in this cloud if the combination between serial number, lot number, and expiry date actually exists there.
Okay.
So you can be sure that this is the actual product you're buying.
Yeah. I guess if you bought the wrong product, there'd be some disappointment somewhere.
Certainly.
Okay, let's move on. With track and trace, and so Wipotec, what are you developing in that area?
So what we do, we develop the system which gets these information printed on the product.
Yeah.
So you need the code somewhere placed on the product so the scanner can check for it.
Yeah.
And also we take care that the information, the serial numbers we print will be sent to your upper system where you send it then to the cloud, for example.
Okay, and that's country by country. You have there's a location where you send those to.
Exactly.
So that when, as you say, the pharmacist scans it, and it goes.
Exactly.
Okay. Abhijeet, 2D barcodes. Obviously, in Australia, 2027, they're coming. Can you just explain the situation for us? First of all, what is a 2D barcode, and then why is the government bringing it in as a mandatory requirement?
So 2D barcode is a system where around the world is going to be pushed by 2027 at this stage. The reason it is that you get a small code rather than a traditional 1D code, which can pack a lot of information about your product, as well as about the date batch manufacturing code as well. So it is going to be not a fixed code, but it is dynamic code.
Okay.
So if you want to keep the 1D code, that is fine. But if you add another 2D barcode in there, which will give more information to consumers, to also the, let's say, big companies like Coles, Woolworths, Aldi, for their stock inventories as well. And also for the manufacturers, it will be easier to see the inventory for them and how many orders are coming in as well. So it is also good for supply chain too.
Okay.
So 2D code is really important nowadays because there are some also counterfeits even in the food industry at the moment. So for example, in dairy industry, there are certain cheese, certain specialty products where they get exported. And if you have the 2D code with your specific information embedded in the code, the counterfeiting charges are very less.
Right,
so there are already companies in Asia who are implementing 2D code
Yeah.
Because there are certain products where you manufacture with certain names, but then they saw that on the shelf they have exactly same looking product but different name, and consumers get confused which is the right product.
You run around the supermarket, you grab the packaging that you visually you think is the packaging. You don't read it every time.
Yeah. And the other thing is also that there was a lot of problem in the industry where expired products were sold in the supermarket without the knowledge of they were really expired. And with the 2D code, it can be easy. When at the point of sale, when you scan the barcode, the system should not allow that product to be sold. So that at that point of time itself, it will be addressed that, oh, that product is expired. You cannot.
Oh, I see. And that applies. So we have a lot of self-checkouts now in Australia, obviously.
Yes.
So you would scan the cheese or whatever as you put it through to pay for it, and it would be expired product.
That's correct.
That's useful, eh?
Yes.
So 2D barcodes are useful for the manufacturers, the supply chain, the logistics companies, the distribution centers, and the consumer.
And the
code for all. To a consumer would engage through his smartphone with it.
Yes.
And then he would find out all the information that he required, he or she required.
That's correct.
In terms of where it was manufactured, when it was manufactured.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
so how do you feel that the industry is ready? Because 2027, it's only less than 3 years away. How would you say the industry is prepared for that?
The industry is not ready yet, but I think the major supermarkets here in Australia are driving that at the moment. Like, for example, Woolworths is driving that project from their end. And more and more, they will be requesting their suppliers to implement these codes.
Yeah.
So, and the suppliers are not ready yet because they don't even know what equipments are available to comply, or let's say, which can give that technology to implement the codes.
Yeah.
So that's where I know Wipotec can definitely help.
You can, because actually I was on the Wipotec stand and I saw that one of your machines there said 2027 2D ready. So if someone buys a machine now, it's going to be, even though they don't need it right now, but if they've still got that machine 3 years time, they don't need to buy another one.
That is correct. So they can just buy our machines and they will be sure that the technology they purchased from us is ready for implementing the 2D codes.
Okay. And why do people buy Wipotec systems? What sets you apart from your competition?
We engineer solutions. That is our specialty.
Yeah.
So a lot of customers, or let's say a lot of companies, they buy box products or they sell box products.
Yes.
This is the standard design machine. But our systems, we most of the time, supply as a special system to design for specific product and specific use. And that's where Wipotec, can help customers to, get the solution what they are looking for.
Yeah. So you work with the customer to find out what they exactly need, rather than saying we've got this, take it. This is what you need. I understand it.
Yes.
Okay. Marvin, getting back to track and trace.
Yes.
It was traditionally track and trace was for high value products, wasn't it?
Yes, correct.
Cosmetics, $100 cosmetic rolls. I don't know if that's high value or not. Never bought any. Everyone, please note. Is that affordability for track and trace? How far do you see that coming right down? Will it come down to a chocolate bar?
Certainly. So I just, before I came here to Australia, I had a business trip to South Africa, for example. And I have been informed that they are currently having big problems with food counterfeiting, and actually had even cases of death there.
Really?
Yeah, really. So even though the product itself may not be so high value, still your reputation is in danger, which is of course more valued than the chocolate bar.
Yeah, well, they can destroy a company overnight, can't it?
Exactly.
If someone thinks they're going to die from using the chocolate.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the point.
And so you see track and trace being applied across the board for that reason, the reputation. Well, obviously for safety.
Not only, yes, that's the main thing, but as you just mentioned, everyone in that supply chain, the manufacturer, the retailer, and the consumer, they more or less have only benefits.
Yeah.
So the manufacturer, he can be sure that there will no counterfeits on the market. He can make sure that he can bind the customer even more to his brand.
Yeah.
Supply chains or retailers, they have a better warehouse system by
Yeah.
using 2D codes, and the consumer can get more information about the specific pack
Yeah.
he has in his hand. So currently, if you have a chocolate bar in your hand and it's got this marketing QR code,
Yeah.
currently it's super boring. It just brings you to the landing page of the producer.
That's right. Yeah.
But if you use this 2D code with a so-called digital link, then inside of that link of the landing page, there is data embedded, like, for example, serial number or expiration date, batch number, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the landing page, this link will send these information to your landing page, and it can give the consumer actually information about this specific pack you have in your hands.
Yeah.
For example, where the ingredients come from, which way did this pack go, and it's much more interesting.
Yeah, and for the consumer, speaking as a consumer, of course, you're interested in that kind of stuff because now we all want to know, has this been produced well with people working in not slave labor conditions, for instance, which would all be on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what are the ingredients? Has any fertilizers been used, that you might not want to take yourself? So yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's great. Marvin, you obviously travel the world in your job.
Yeah.
How do you think the Australian market, packaging market, compares with what you see around the world?
In regards of 2D codes?
Yeah.
I would say that Australia is pretty much ahead, along with Germany and maybe France.
Okay.
So you guys are all doing already pretty good.
Yeah.
I see many people interested into this topic here and having already specific ideas how to implement this into their current pilot projects, for example, while other countries are just starting with this stuff. So
Okay.
you guys are doing pretty good here.
That's good to hear. Good to hear, Abhijeet. And
Very nice.
Abhijeet, Wipotec, obviously it's a new company.
Yes.
First time at this show. How has it been for you, this APPEX show? We've seen this giant hall packed out with exhibitors, a lot of people here.
Actually, Wipotec as a brand name was there in Australia for from long
Yeah,
time.
I understand that. But this is your first time as a
This is
stand,
our
isn't
first
it?
time at
Yeah.
the APPEX or APPMA organized.
Yeah.
And I think we got a big exposure here to represent ourselves.
Yeah.
And with a big crowd coming into, where we can get better exposure and show our technology as well as demonstrate our capabilities, what we can help with. It was a really good opportunity to be here.
Okay, yes, so it's been a positive experience for you guys.
Certainly.
Oh, that's good to hear. Okay, well, Abhijeet, Marvin, thanks so much for your time. It's been great to have you on the podcast. Great to hear.
Thank you, Wayne.
Track
Thanks
and
for
trace and
inviting
what's going
us.
on. Okay, pleasure.
Appreciate
Bye
your
for
time.
now.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, gents, for this great live stream that we've had people listening in on, and we'll find it on the internet afterwards as well. So thank you, everyone. And of course, thanks to Burkert, where innovation meets inspiration, because they're the ones who have made these live streams possible. Stay tuned to this channel. We'll be back in the very not too distant future, probably in about a half an hour or so, with another informative discussion.